Are you ready? The old highway sign for Oak Haven was rusted through, giving the settlement the look of a forgotten tooth in the mouth of the desert. Elias drove in at midnight. Not a soul expected, yet the town felt less abandoned and more paused. The gas station, the general store, the brick town hall, they were all intact, draped in a fine, silver dust, like artifacts under glass. He stopped at the only building with a faint, flickering neon sign, the Comet Diner. Inside, the horror was immediate and profound. It wasn't the dust, it was the people. A waitress was frozen mid-pour, her eyes wide, locked on a point over Elias's shoulder. The coffee, stopped in a physics-defying brown arc, hung inches from the lip of a ceramic cup. At the counter, a man with a fedora sat rigid, one hand reaching for a slice of pie that he would never touch. Every face, every posture, was locked in the same silent terror. They were not skeletons, they were statues of human panic. Elias noticed a detail that made his breath catch. A single, perfectly preserved tear track on the waitress's cheek, solidified like amber. This wasn't a ghost town, it was a museum of the exact moment a singular catastrophe struck. He backed slowly toward the door, his heart hammering against his ribs. The silence was absolute, heavier than the dust itself. Then, from the counter, a faint, almost inaudible sound broke the void. Click. The man in the fedora, whose hand had been frozen inches from his dessert, now had his index finger resting lightly on the plate's rim. The microscopic movement was so terrifying because it implied a monumental release of tension. Elias ran. He scrambled to his jeep, keys shaking violently in the ignition. As the engine finally roared to life, he looked one last time into the dusty, flickering window of the diner. The waitress was no longer looking over his shoulder. She was looking directly out the window, and the coffee pot she held was lowered slightly. And the man in the fedora? He was slowly, deliberately raising the slice of pie toward his face. Oak Haven wasn't paused anymore. It was waking up. Elias mashed the gas pedal. The image of those eyes no longer terrified, but patient burned into his mind, the last, cold horror of that waiting place. You only have to subscribe now.